All right, guys. Hey, y'all.
Howdy, friends.
It's Jazz, the 40-ounce connoisseur, and
It's Cat Daddy, and we are clearly excited.
super excited. We have a special guest. Now, y'all know it's Black History Month, but it's Black History 365, and this
It
year
is.
specifically 363, 366. I'm looking
Every year,
at y'all. When
366, yeah.
March come around, I'm looking at y'all. Okay? I'm looking with my eyes. But we have Dr. Robin Means Coleman with us, okay? And first of all, if you don't know her, you need to know her. Get familiar. Open some books. Lots of books. Watch some documentaries, okay? We're going to talk about some of her work, all right? You want to say hey to everybody, Robin?
I do. Now, am I supposed to say that they have to show up on March 1st or we're coming for them?
Yes, you
Yes.
can. You can. Yep.
Okay, I think I just said it. Hello, everybody.
Hey,
Y'all
hey.
in trouble?
Yes, y'all are in trouble. We said it, okay? But we are here to dig into some of your work, some of your preferences, some fun horror questions, icebreakers, and things like that. Because, I mean, clearly you are a fan of horror, but also a scholar. And it's just interesting to see your perspective on things. So, maybe I'll start with this because I know you're an educator and you're a professor. Now you're at University of Virginia. But what is something interesting or fun you've learned from a student? Because I know as educators, we learn things from students all the
Ooh.
time. I learn a lot, even if it's about TikTok dances.
Okay, this is sort of this is serious. So I was writing the first edition of Horror Noir, and I was researching the NAACP and their boycotts of different black television shows and film. And one of my students, Brandon, and his father, they were horror fans. And I had heard of White Dog, the horror. Do you know White Dog?
I
It's a horror
actually am
film.
not familiar.
Okay,
No.
the very, very briefly. So White Dog is a okay, I'm laughing already. It's serious. White Dog is a horror film that is about a racist white dog that escapes its racist white handlers and ends up in McNichol's house, but keeps attacking and killing black folks. So I'd heard of this. I'd heard that there was a movie like this, but it had been banned. And my student, Brandon, not only gave me a really interesting kind of primer on why it was banned and the what the NAACP and other organizations, how they were behind getting this film banned, because it was against sort of this, it was, I think it was early 80s, this sort of let's all, can't we all just get along kind of rhetoric that was going on. And they thought it was going to be sort of divisive. So I think it was late 70s, early 80s. And I learned about White Dog from a student.
Wow. Okay. And I learned about it from you and that
Also,
student.
And it is significantly represented in the book. And I thank Brandon for that.
Yes.
shout
So I
out to
read the
Brandon
book.
because
yes.
it's now in my. I have it up in my other
Yes,
tab in my window.
because I read it, but I was like, I don't know this movie, so I got to skip on past this one. Hello. Okay,
I love
yeah,
that
that was
question.
cool.
Thank you.
Oh, welcome.
That was a good one. I love when she asked the other teachers that. I'm like, this is so nice. I love this. Okay, I'm coming in with another one.
Okay.
So you've worn many hats in your illustrious career, still going, still doing all the things. When did you know that you were a lifelong learner? And then what advice do you have to other educators navigating the field?
These are such good questions. I did not expect this. Oh my gosh. Um, I think people who are lifelong learners, it isn't that they discover it, it is their daily practice. It just never stops. So there's no aha moment except that they sort of look up and they go, I'm still learning. I'm still engaged. And there's just something so much fun about the process of discovery. And I was going to say, girl, that's so scary. So here's what's so scary about that lifelong learning is the ways in which you find red threads that connect to things that you don't expect. So I was the chief diversity officer at Texas A&M and Northwestern, and I write about horror movies. And those two things connect so intimately. And I'm so glad that I learned, because being a diversity officer is a discipline too, engaged in these two disciplines. They are both about social justice. They are both about ridding our world of anti-Blackness. They are both about, I'm going to start with, sort of coming at you civilly, but if you keep pushing me, then we're going to have to think of some uncivil responses to your racism. And horror does that. The CDO space is the civil approach. Keep trying me, and then we're in the horror space. That red thread of lifelong learning it's amazing. But you are lifelong learners too.
Yeah.
How would you answer that question?
I don't know if I had an aha moment. I just will always want to know more things. Or as soon as like you said, that feeling of learning something new or discovering something, I get engrossed or engaged in that. Even if it's something random, like I think I was learning about IP addresses earlier because I don't know. Everyone knows that I make the joke that I'm the dog at the computer because I barely know what I'm doing. Although I had to teach through lockdown, so I learned a lot about doing computer stuff. But I was like, I know what an IP address is, but I don't really know what an IP address is. So I read an article that I learned there was two different kinds of IP addresses, and then not only that, the businesses have this one, and there's a private one, and then every device in your house, even if it's Bluetooth, got its own IP. I'm like, the speaker got an IP. It's not just for the computers. So I learned a lot, and because a lot of things were, like that thread.
Did we just
go ahead.
learn? Did you?
Yes,
I
we
think
did. I'm
so
floored.
we're 3 minutes in, and we've already learned about White Dog, and we've already learned about a bunch of IP addresses.
So be careful where y'all connecting, y'all. People can see that.
I'm scared.
Kat,
My
what
answer
about
was-
you and lifelong
Yeah.
learning?
I feel like there wasn't a particular point. However, I think when I realized like I wasn't a person that disliked school or any of that, like I just, it's something about doing research on your own.
Yes.
It was like one, finding a way to like run away to books. Books were an escape, whether it was like at home or at school. I loved independent reading. And I was in a Montessori program, so a lot of it is just, okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a lot of you discover on your
Yes,
own. The
that's right.
learning is done at your own pace. So, and at this point, like there's doing research on the computer is like a newer thing, like with Netscape and all that jazz. So most of the research is happening in the encyclopedia. So me going to the local library, like I'm always finding myself in the telekinesis section of the library because I just wanted to know if I could do it too. That is exactly it. But I think that was a moment for me. And ever since, like, I feel like I always find my way back to education. Like, even though I'm not in a classroom anymore, I'm still a paraprofessional. Like, and I feel like as time goes on, I think about like how my brain is structured, like that's reflecting everywhere else. I'm just, it's a thing. Shout out to you. I love this.
Jazz, did you hear we got Netscape in this conversation as well?
Wow. I
Look.
forgot about that.
We're doing it.
Listen. Back in the day, I know that somebody lit a cigarette when they heard Netscape, okay? Someone literally said, ooh, Lord.
I was thinking about G's, y'all. I've really been thinking G's
Ask
has been a
Jeeves?
the past week. Yes.
They turned it into a different site. We learned that up because we looked it up at a point. Ask Jeeves is with us, but it's not like the search engine it used to be. That's all right.
This
Okay.
is exciting.
I'm gonna go back into the questions because we're gonna have a good time. Okay, so of course the Black God Dies First is amazing, and Mark talked with us a bit about how we want it to be tangible, so that's why it's pictures, that's why it's written the way it's written. It's not like this long block of text. But what was your favorite part of writing that? What was your favorite part?
Oh my goodness. So there were a lot of ways in which the books could have been presented. And so there are some laugh out loud parts of this book, and most of them come in the lists that we did. So I think it was a really smart decision to do those kind of pop out lists, these short that just hit you, that hit you, that hit you. I think that's wait, let me see. Let me give you an example. I got it right here. For example, is that okay if I do this? Okay, the Black Character Horror Movie Survival Guide. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it just gives you an example. So we did these kind of breakouts. And so one of the tips for Black people to survive a horror movie is to stay away from white people. When Chad and Chelsea invite you to a weekend camping trip, take a page from Jordan Peele and just say nope. Even if they don't have nefarious get-out plans in store for you, it's a scientific fact that white people in remote locations attract mayhem. So why put yourself in harm's way? Don't be tempted by what sounds like a fun cabin in the woods party. FOMO, fear of missing out on others, will get your ass killed. Right? I mean, that was the first iteration of that was probably like a page and a half. And to capture the theme, but put it in a kind of a list, I think made it all the more funny and accessible.
You are correct. You are correct. Because that's how I got through the book in like 2 days. I was like, yes.
Okay, listen, I have a question. I have so many questions. Okay. So, boom. We're in class. Today we're discussing certain films. What is your intro film for the class? Like, what are your top 3? Like, it's week 1, we just got the syllabus, and maybe you wanted to take it to the next level. What does the babies need to know? That this is a representation of how this class is going, and also this is how Dr. Coleman is steering the boat.
That's a good one. This is a longer answer. Right now, there's a meme that's going around, and it's been around, but I don't know why it's back like this week. And it's LL Cool J in Deep Blue. If you've seen this, it's going around again, and it's like the 1999 Deep Blue, and it's like he's the first Black character to survive to the end of a horror film. And it's all over the place. And people are like tagging me on this going, like, Dr. Coleman, did you see this? So first, no, he is far from the first Black character to survive a horror film. But the other is that there's something interesting about how we think of horror and heroism, and how it always omits Black women. There are so many horror films, and I'm talking early period films, black and white films, where Black women are kicking ass and taking names. One of my favorites, which is unintentionally transgressive, unintentionally, sort of anti-racist, is Chloe Love is Calling You. This is from, I always mess up the date. Let me see. I think it's 1934. Yes, it's a 30s. It's black and white. 1934, Chloe's Love is Calling You. It features a character named Mandy, played by Georgette Harvey. And what I like about this movie, one is Georgette Harvey was out as being gay. She was known for her parties, that kind of thing. And so I love that. She brings that like blackness, her gayness, all of that whole and full to this character in 1934. Mandy in this movie, like almost a century spoiler alert, Mandy is getting retribution on white racists who lynched her husband left and right. And Mandy lives. She survives this movie. And in a 2023 context, we read her as a hero. We're supposed to hate her in the 1934 context. But this sister is bad. And one of the things that I also love about her, where I talk about sort of the transgressiveness, at one point she dresses up as a male Loa, Baron Samedi in this movie, right? So she's like bringing all the things to this film. And I'm like, holy smokes, is anybody paying attention to this? That movie is where I would start and contextualize it, because when you watch it, you're just sort of like, okay, but Mandy's badass. So Mandy kidnaps the white family's infant child and raises her black, then brings her back to the white family, and they're so racist. I mean, this girl is like white, and they're so racist that they're like, oh my God, get her out of here. She's so dark. And you're like, oh, Mandy, what are you doing to me right now? So that's where I would start. Before we set up the sort of black final girls, like the Geraldines, like Ganja, like, right? Like, before we get to those, we got to start with Mandy. Before we get to Sugar, which is a whole other thing, Sugar and Sugar Hill, she's hilarious. We got to start with Mandy. So I think that's where I would begin.
Wow.
Thank you. I'm in the class. Also, this movie is on Tubi. I looked it up. I couldn't wait. I was like, I gotta see this today.
Girl, I found it on. I saw YouTube too.
Oh yes. Okay. Thank you.
I am going to be watching that. Thank you. In the next 24 hours, we'll be doing homework. Wow. That's so great. I also, my next question is, what are you looking forward to writing? Because again, a lot of these writer projects are so dynamic. They're so interesting. And then for me, I guess also because I don't know but so much, but I don't think there's so much media. There's not a lot of media specifically about Black horror in that way where it's like we're teaching you. Yes, Black horror exists, but there's not a lot of people like analyzing all of it. And what are you hoping to do next? Because I know you're not done.
I don't know why I guess this LL meme is on my mind. So I started talking about how it's circulating and they're talking about Deep Blue and all of this. Now, I love me some LL. But he did take that turn with, what is his name? The country singer. Brad Paisley. Accidental racism or accidental racist. Up until that point, I was ride or die for LL. What has to happen next, I think, is where we started, which is talking about choices, the choices that this society makes. And I think it's time for a reckoning about, are these the narratives that we will continue to offer up as a diet about a diet of the ways in which we're going to combat racism rhetorically, right? Sort of a narrative, visually. Is it the accidental racist video and the lyrics that surround that? Or is it something else? Is it something like The First Purge, right? But kind of in reverse, where we're dealing with anti-Blackness. What does that look like when people have said enough around the racism, the misogyny? Horror gives us some valuable lessons about what happens when the society fails us and fails to heed the warning. We are lucky that it's happening on the big screen and not in the streets.
Yeah, because The First Purge is wild. But also I could see that happening because our government is that's an organization there, guys.
I mean, and horror does it all. Horror tells us, I think horror is probably most closely right around things like climate change, right? For decades, it's been more, right? So horror is really prescient and we have to pay attention to its lessons.
Yes, that's why everyone should watch more horror. If you're new and you just stumbled across this video, watch a horror movie today. You'll be more prepared tomorrow, even if it's bears. I learned a lot about bears from watching like Bad Country, and there's another movie on Shudder. I don't even plan to be around no bears, y'all, but also I didn't know bears could climb that fast or swim that fast. I don't know what it is where you think, I know bears are fast, but I didn't think they was just going to hit the tree like that. No, guys.
Kat, did Jazz watch Cocaine Bear? Is that what's happening here?
It's that, but then, she also really did watch a couple other ones on top of me aggressively nodding, because I'll occasionally call her and let her know, like, hey, so I just was watching at National Geographic between the channel and the YouTube. And they're always teaching new stuff about, nature. And I'm very afraid / I respect nature so much. I'm like, y'all got it.
Yeah.
Gonna leave you alone. Seriously.
That's
because Nope, this is not my lane. This is your domain. This is your sidewalk. I got it. So no, she's right. And then if you watch some like Boar, you know how you know about pigs and wow.
They be eating anything, bro. No.
And y'all think it's just the movies. When you lay down, that's real. Don't lay down in front of no pigs.
In Sugar Hill, Marky Bay, she's got this gangster, if you remember this scene. And I remember my jaw dropping because she has sort of starved these pigs. And she's going to feed this white gangster to these pigs because he's done her man, and the black community so wrong, so dirty. And she says something about that they eat garbage and they haven't had any garbage to eat for a long time. And when she has him thrown in, she says something like, I hope they're into white trash. And I was a young person when I saw this, and I was like, oh my, and can you say that? Like, can you say this on the big screen? I will never forget that line. And that's how I also learned jazz. You learned about bears. That's how I learned that pigs, that's a really bad way to go.
Listen, horror teaching everybody. Also, Baron Samedi being that scarecrow. If you have not seen Sugar Hill, that is, people don't talk about that scare. That's terrifying. You talking to somebody, you turn back around and they're, what? Like, I jumped a little. I was like, hold on. It's time to leave.
And I was like, wait, Mother Jefferson? She's in this movie?
Yes.
Love it.
Oh, my God. Such a great time. All right.
I have one more question before we go into our game of Would You Rather. It's really innocent, no bad stuff, I promise you. So my last question is, what are you excited about, like, in horror right now? Like, just in general, what's to come? You know, they just announced all these new movies for 2024. What really has you like, okay, I'm tuning in?
I'm going to punt a little bit on this and say what I'm hopeful for is not a specific title, but we're getting better with queer horror. But there's still I feel like a nervousness, a tension, like people don't know how to quite write violence and sexual violence, right? And that's I'm glad that people are like, can we get this right? Is there a way to do this? Because I do think the sexual violence is unnecessary when you're writing queer horror. There are all sorts of ways that you can develop whole realized characters that aren't caricature, that aren't just the comic relief, all of that. I am hopeful for queer horror, queer black horror. That is what I am hopeful for. I think that we can get this right without falling into cliche and all of that. And I think we're really, really close.
All right. Yeah. Okay, I can't wait. Yeah, definitely. Ooh. Because I love queer horror. I love horror, but queer black horror is just, we need a little more. It's there, but it's like, they don't put it on the list. Like, it's like, oh, here's the queer list, and it's never there. I'm like, okay.
And they're barely putting on for the queer list, to be quite honest. Like,
that's right.
So I'm right with you. Like, there were some really good movies that came out last year. Saint Drogo was one. The folks who did, I think they also did Death Drop Gorgeous.
Yes.
And I saw that, and that was a really good movie. So I'm hoping that not just like queer horror in general, but like you said, like more black people to the front, more brown people to the front, because there's so many different stories that are also not American based, just all around the world. Like, I want to see more of that.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I am reminded there's a scholar who is at the University of Miami, Alfred Martin, and he writes about queer representation, black queer representation in media. And one of the things that stays with me about his research is he says that there's this sort of myth that circulates that black audiences do not want to see or will not consume queer anything, queer media. And his research just doesn't bear that out. And so this sort of excuse that studios and producers have about, oh, it's not sellable or we can't take that up, he really does a good job of refuting that. And I think that that is helpful in opening more doors so that we get these kinds of stories more often. So I'm hopeful.
Yeah. Thank you for your answer. Oh, yes. All right. You ready to hop into Would You Rather?
Okay.
All right. I'm pulling from this list. Would you rather attempt... No, I'm going to do this one. Would you rather explore the catacombs in Paris, like as above, so below, okay, or explore the Appalachian Caves in The Descent?
Ooh. I think I'm going to go with the caves in Descent. I know, right? I mean, and there's all of that is horrible. It's claustrophobic, it's muddy, it's dark, there's monsters running around. You come up and then it's still a dream. Like everything that can go wrong with that exploration will go wrong, but I don't know, it's horror, in for a penny, in for a pound.
All right. I like that kind of attitude. Okay.
That was a good choice. Both of these choices were scary. So,
What
I
would
would
you
the same
pick,
one.
Kat?
I think the catacombs. I would cry at both options because I know what's about to happen.
Look, bro, I'm not going to them catacombs. That is hell. You know I'm scared of hell. Okay, growing up in the
Okay,
church,
but the
really,
Descent is also like.
I'm gonna get eaten, but I'm gonna die. Like you in hell. Like that's eternal, bro. I'm scared. Mom, pick me
Always
up.
pick
I'm
the scariest
scared.
option.
So,
Okay.
Jazz,
Scary
it's me and you in the cave.
Yeah, and I'm gonna let you know right now. I'm not gonna be helpful. I'm gonna get stuck. Look, I am not small. Those girls were athletic. I'm gonna be stuck right in them rocks. I'm like, oh Lord, take me now. That's gonna be me. All right.
No,
So
she's
sorry.
not gonna be
I will give
helpful.
you my supplies. Here you go. Hope you make it out.
I was about to say you ain't got to split the rations no more.
No, you
it's just
don't. Because I'm willing to just go ahead and starve to death.
Yep.
Better than eating to death. I'm
Yep.
getting eaten to death. I'm sorry. I know the monster smell. I know they do.
Ugh.
I know it smells crazy down there. Okay. Okay. Last question. Would you rather attempt to defeat Jean Jacket from Nope, or my favorite, The Bonnet in the Sky, because that's what she looks like, or battle the Predator?
Oh, well, okay. This one is not fair. Because I kind of have a crush on the Predator.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. So you about to take out Jean Jacket?
Well, I mean,
Uh-oh.
it could be kind of a kind of sexy play fight with the Predator.
Okay. Or maybe she could, smooth it over, and maybe he won't want to fight no more. Okay.
That's it.
There you
You
go.
might get the mark, like an Alien
Yep.
versus
I
Predator.
want to be in it, right?
Gang. We ain't
And
here.
they got that mark. She was in the tribe. Yep.
Okay, I see
Yeah.
the vision.
I
see
think the
vision.
Predator's kind of sexy.
It's a muscular dude under there.
With,
It's a
yes,
rather
right,
muscular dude.
with the shield on, not when it comes off. But yes,
Okay,
I picked
see
the Predator.
vision.
Okay.
And
I
they're
mean, he's
smart.
cuter than Jean Jacket. I'm not gonna lie.
Next level.
Oh,
Jean Jacket makes me nervous.
yeah.
I'm scared all over it. I'm sorry. That's just. I just keep thinking about. I don't want to spoil it because it's relatively new and some people don't know. But I'm also just like, I am so scared. I don't want any parts.
Because that boss, I
None.
wouldn't even notice it was there. It would have got me. It would have got me.
Yep.
It would have been there for longer than it was. Wouldn't have never noticed. Oh God. Okay. We gonna wrap this up because oh my God, this was such a blast talking to you. Oh my gosh. Like, oh, we gotta figure something else out. But anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. It's Black History Month 365. Okay.
Right.
You have hung out with Girl That's Scary and Dr. Robin Means Coleman, okay? Listen, read The Black Guy's Eyes first, right now. It's one of the best books I've read in the last 5 years because it was just so fun, and it's about something that I hold near and dear. So again, thank you for your work. Thank you for your service. Okay. But yes, guys, we have a calendar out. Look at the pages for Girl That's Scary, Dread Central. Look at everything we have going on. We'll be at the Woolly Mammoth. We'll be doing a panel. We're going to have some live trivia, all kinds of fun things. So pull up on us. And until next time, guys, bye.